the public in the Nigerian judiciary? What has led to it?
The Nigerian public doesn't have confidence in the judiciary.
Why?
Because the judiciary has shown itself transparently to be fraudulent, deceptive, and manipulative of, what the public understands to be justice. So you see a lot of legalism but no justice. Any kind of legal process that does not guarantee justice cannot bring about explicit or implicit confidence from the Nigerian people. If you were to have legitimate polling of opinions today in the country by pollsters, I think the judiciary would be staying at the bottom with Nigeria police in terms of the most untrustworthy, arm of government, or agency. So there's no question about it. It is because these judges have, over time, just become problematic, and have been standing in the way of justice. They give contradictory rulings even when it's the same level. Sometimes you've heard cases where the Court of Appeal will reverse the Supreme Court. Where do you hear that happen anywhere in the world?
Under the military, the judiciary stood firm. They were the last man standing, as it were, against military fascism. We're in a democracy 27 years now. What is responsible for the seeming loss of confidence in the Nigerian judiciary? What is responsible?
First, I want to say to you that maybe you are one of the few people who still feel we are in a democracy. You Nigerians no longer think this is democracy. This is not the government of the people, by the people, and for the people anymore. So the moment democracy's meaning don't make sense to Nigerian people, then you can understand why they don't trust all these agencies that are supposed to deliver democratic dividends to them. We are not in a democracy because this is not what democratic rule is all about. We have been some form of quasi-government that probably only history can define. But this is not democracy. This is not the democracy they taught me in social studies and government in university. If we are practicing democracy, the judiciary is supposed to be, you have said it now, that even when it was not democratic rule, the judiciary was the only arm of government perhaps, even when we lost, pressure groups like the labor movement, the student movement. I was saying in a different interview today, by the way, that I had more trust that the military will respect court judgments than it is under the current situation. I've been a victim of judgments, orders that were flagrantly and dismissed with impunity. I was abducted in front of a judge, and she ran when her wig was in the air, and she came back the next day pretending as if nothing happened. Under a normal circumstance or under normal circumstances, she would not accept to come back until the culprits are brought to book. But nobody even talks about it anymore. So what does that tell you? People have lost confidence because what our judiciary is supposed to do, which is to deliver what is apparent to all to be justice, it has failed in that regard, and it has failed transparently. An average person can tell you that when they are going to court is because they have no option. It's not because they expect something different will happen. Even when something different happens, when it seems like apparently a judge did well, there's another judge around the corner waiting to. I've had instances where orders were given by court registrars and not the judge themselves.
Okay, we'll come back to this, but let's continue on our political, overview. Do you trust INEC under this new act to deliver free, fair, credible elections in 2027? That's one. Then, addition to that, compare Professor Josh Amukwita to his predecessor, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Do you think, in your opinion, Professor Josh will do a better job than Professor Mahmoud?
Asking me to trust INEC is as good as asking me to trust the mafioso not to commit crime of any kind. INEC is one of Nigeria's biggest problems, in addition to, of course, the judiciary. And the reason is that INEC has never, in whatever guise, delivered justice, when I mean justice, electoral justice to Nigerian people. The closest we had to it, the guy chickened out. Professor Wozu. That was 1993, where this country for the first time had a semblance of free and fair election. And they did not deliver the outcome to the people. You know, when it was FEDECO in 1979, which was the first time, I think it's Federal Electoral Commission. 1979 was the first time I was conscious and everybody knew what FEDECO was. He did not deliver electoral justice. Wolowo won the election, popular vote, and they went back and changed the numbers through the judiciary and said, because it didn't meet the 12 to 3rd, you know, the 12 to 3rd majority. Richard Akinjide. Wolowo was denied the opportunity to be president of Nigeria. Abiola won election, INEC did not announce it. Obasanjo reportedly didn't win in 1999, INEC announced it. INEC is the electoral body that announces winners of results that never participated in results. They did it in Imo State. So how can you trust such a body? And if you're talking about Mukuta, I met Mukuta once since he became INEC chairman. I've spoken to him once. It sounds like a nice guy, but like that's what every INEC chairman starts as. But the last time I met with him, I could not fail to notice his naivete. And the reason was that he loves the echo chambers. I think it's because they say he was a priest and he's a lawyer. He's just like talking, you know. So he sat there and looking at you like, sir, do you apologize? It sounds like a teddy bear. Yeah. Reason is that he's the last of the jigsaw puzzles that was brought into INEC. Ask yourself who appointed the spokesperson.
Who did? Tell us, who did?
Tinubu's people. Who appointed his chief of staff? Tinubu's chief of staff.
How do you know this?
Of course, I'm an investigative journalist. I don't even need to go that far. Because they have names. You can Google and see who they were with before they became. So then the one who's going to provide his police, DSS. I'm not saying that, but it takes, you know, a lion heart to act differently from the script. Then look at who the electoral commissioner, the national commissioners are before he came in. You know, APC people. They're already in place. He was the last person to occupy the seat. If you want to know INEC, very well. Don't even do any investigative report. Let somebody take a picture of INEC national commissioners and do what they call physiognomic analysis of their faces. You will just tell that these are Tinubu's people.
Does the face show?
Oh yeah, that's this branch of science called physiognomy or something, where the face can tell of who a person would be just by looking at